In the headlines, all is now set for Osun governorship election as INEC concludes distribution of election materials. Court orders upward review of judges' salaries. World Bank lists Nigeria among top 10 countries with worst inflation rate. And on the foreign scene, 3 children die as landslide sweeps over Colombian school. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Hello and welcome once again. The Independent National Electoral Commission INEC on Friday says all is now set for tomorrow's governorship election in Osun State. The resident electoral commissioner in the state, Professor Abdulgani Raji, said all that is needed to be done has been done. Speaking in Oshogbo, Raji said INEC is fully prepared for the election.
We are fully prepared. I can tell you that if election is going to take place today, we are good to go. We have taken delivery of all the non-sensitive materials. We have ensured that we did all voter education and sensitization. We covered all the primaries. All the parties have been, all the candidates, the list has been displayed. Every other steps have been taken. We have also ensured that all our racks, all our collation centers, all our PUs are intact. In fact,
meanwhile, Trust TV's political reporter Shafiu Suleiman is in Osun State and now gives us an update.
We're right now in Oshogbo, the capital of Osun State. And as you can see in my shot right now, the citizens here are going about their normal businesses, awaiting the conduct of the Saturday election, governorship election, which is also expected to usher in, the next governor of the state. As we speak, there are 15 political parties that are contesting in this election. At least 5 of them seem to be very visible. The ruling APC, the major opposition PDP, the SDP, the Accord Party, and the Labour Party. There are 1,955,657 registered voters, and they are expected, to decide who becomes the next governor of the state. There are also 370 polling units, that is including the ones recently created by INEC. They are spread across 332 political wards. This is where the election is expected to take place. And as we speak, the election is very much crucial to the political parties, at least the 2 major political parties, the incumbent APC, which is battling to retain its mandate, and the major opposition PDP, which is warming up to take over the mantle of leadership. All political parties have engaged the electorate, effectively. Yesterday was the last, campaign rally, which was conducted by the major opposition PDP. The electorates here are upbeat and, of course, ready to exercise their franchise. But there is a major concern with regards to the possibility of vote buying across party lines. And stakeholders in the electoral process, including the civil society organizations and the media, have been conscientizing the people and, of course, enlightening them with regards to the importance of their franchise and for them not to sell their mandate. Security arrangement is also done, effectively. There are security personnel deployed across the state at strategic position. Remember, the Nigerian police deployed 21,000 policemen, in addition to other officials who are also going to man the election. INEC has said it's going to be very, peaceful and, of course, credible. Already, the INEC has deployed electoral materials across the polling units. And, of course, there is also a commitment on the part of the resident electoral commissioner of the state, who told, stakeholders earlier that the result of the election will be delivered within 12 hours. So the electorates here in Osun State and Nigerians are waiting to see INEC accomplish this, expectation. From Oshogbo, the Osun State capital, Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News.
Now, the retirement of 11 resident electoral commissioners ahead of the 2023 elections is raising concerns on the successful conduct of the elections. 9 other resident electoral commissioners are due for retirement in August. However, INEC National Commissioner and Chairman Information and Voter Education Committee Festus Okoye said that the Nigerians should not worry as the concerns are being addressed. Musa Luka reports.
The National Commissioner and Chairman Information and Voters Education Committee, Festus Okoye, has confirmed that 11 resident electoral commissioners have retired. They were commissioners in charge of Kogi, Plateau, Yobe, Bauchi, Gombe, Rivers, Oyo, Imo, Enugu, Abia, and Anambra State. Okoye added that from the 15th day of August, the resident electoral commissioners for Adamawa, Niger, Kano, Katsina, Kaduna, Sokoto, Akwa Ibom, and Oshun will complete their tour of duty. Okoye said that it is the responsibility of the presidency to appoint resident electoral commissioners, affirming that the presidency is aware and believed to be working toward filling the vacuum.
When a resident electoral commissioner is appointed, the presidency issues a letter of appointment to such a resident electoral commissioner, and that letter emanates from the secretary to the government of the federation. So the presidency and the executive are aware of the retirement of these resident electoral commissioners, and we are confident that they are working around the clock to make sure that new resident electoral commissioners are appointed. And for those who have served just only one term, there may be the need, or the president may see the need to reappoint some of them. But it is at the entire discretion of the president who is appointed as a resident electoral commissioner and who is not appointed. The commission has nothing to do with that.
Speaking on the permanent voters card registration, Okoye said that the commission is working hard toward ensuring that citizens participate in the registration.
This commission has given its all to make sure that every registrable Nigerian gets an opportunity of registering. The registration of voters is a voluntary thing. In other words, if you want to be registered, you must show up to any of our registration centers to be registered. We also opened an online portal through which people did their pre-registration. We have 7 services in that portal. The only service we have suspended in relation to our online services is the service relating to pre-registration for new registrants.
Also affirming the readiness of the Commission for Osun governorship election, Okoye said the commission is fully ready for the election as materials and personnel are on ground.
Well, in relation to the Osun governorship election, this commission is ready. We carried out what we call readiness assessment between the 3rd day of July and the 7th day of July. And the chairman and national commissioners visited over 5 of the local government areas of Osun State. And we confirmed that our non-sensitive materials have been biased to PU level. So in terms of non-sensitive materials, there's no issue.
INEC has fixed February 25th, 2023 for presidential and national assembly elections. Musa Luka, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And the Independent National Electoral Commission says it is acting about reports and videos trending online about permanent voter cards allegedly buried underground in some locations, including the compound of a high-profile person. The Commission, according to a statement by the National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voter Education, Festus Okoye, has commenced an immediate investigation into the allegation, warning that anyone found wanting would be sanctioned. The INEC Commissioner appealed to those who found the allegedly buried PVCs to deliver them to the Commission's nearest state or local government office. He vowed that the Commission will counter attempts to sabotage the process of getting PVCs to registered voters. He assured Nigerians that the matter will be pursued to its logical conclusion. The National Industrial Court, Abuja, on Friday ordered the federal government to put machineries in place for the immediate review of the salaries and allowances of judicial officers in Nigeria. Justice Osahotume Obaseki, who issued the order, held that the current salaries and allowances of judicial officers in the country is not only abysmally low, but embarrassing. Delivering judgment in a suit instituted against the federal government by a senior advocate of Nigeria, Sebastian On, Justice Obaseki ordered the federal government to commence a monthly payment of 10 million naira to the Chief Justice of Nigeria, 9 million to other justices of the Apex Court, 9 million to the President of the Court of Appeal, 8 million to other justices of the Appellate Court, 8 million to chief judges of both federal and state high courts, and 7 million to judges of the federal and state high courts. The Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption and sister agencies charged with fighting corruption in the country have joined other African Union member states to celebrating the 6th African Union Day of Anti-Corruption discussions at an event to mark the day centered on strategic and mechanisms for the transparent management of COVID-19 funds. Musa Luka reports.
The fight against corruption is one leg of the tripod which the Buhari administration is hinged on. This is because corruption is considered to be one of the major factors hindering development in country and the continent as a whole. To mark the 6th African Union Day of Anti-Corruption, the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption collaborated with the Court of Conduct Bureau, the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, the Independent Corrupt Practices and Related Offences Commission, the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, and other stakeholders to discuss on the themes, strategies and mechanisms for the transparent management of COVID-19 funds. Declaring the day open, Muhammadu Buhari, in a virtual address, emphasizes that corruption is an evil that requires all hands to be on deck to address.
May I use this opportunity to thank fellow African leaders for their individual and collective efforts in fighting corruption on our continent. I appreciate all of you for the confidence reposed in me being the African champion of anti-corruption. I understand that the theme for 2022 is strategy and mechanisms for the transparent management of coronavirus funds.
The Chairman, Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, Professor Ite Sage, was represented at the event by Professor Alemika.
The Convention recognizes that corruption is not a public sector phenomenon alone, but also a private sector disease. And in our context in Nigeria, we know that this is actually very true.
Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, represented by the Permanent Secretary General Services, Maurice Namdi, affirmed that donations were received from public and the private sectors to assist the government in the fight against the pandemic, adding that the federal government is committed to ensure transparency in the management of the fund.
Donations were received from the public and private sector organizations, such as the Coalition Against COVID-19, CACOVID, the World Health Organization, the UNICEF, the United States government, that's the CDC, the UK Department of International Development, the government of Japan, and several other donors or partners.
Musa Luka, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're watching Trust TV News Update. And still to come on the news, dumping waste killing aquatic life. Details of this and more after the break. Do stay with us. Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now, recap of our top stories. All is now set for Osun governorship election as INEC concludes distribution of election materials. And court orders upward review of judges' salaries. And moving on to other news now. Despite recent security lapses, President Muhammadu Buhari has commended the response of the armed forces of Nigeria to the Boko Haram insurgency, banditry, militancy, kidnapping, as well as the activities of separatists and armed militia. The president spoke at the graduation ceremony of 247 students of the senior course 44 of the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Jaji, Kaduna State. Kende Amodu reports.
Terrorist attacks bearing the hallmark of national and trans-border insurgents have increased in frequency in the last few months. Despite looking overwhelmed at times, the Armed Forces of Nigeria has worked tirelessly to enhance its combat effectiveness, operational capability, and training necessary to eliminate threats in synergy with other institutions and nations.
It will be part of our duty to confront these terrorists and insurgents and wipe them off the face of the earth.
The president is resolved that his government will continue to provide the needed support required to wipe out terrorists and insurgents, but he stresses that combating prevalent security threats effectively demands that African countries must continue to work together at all levels.
To this end, the ongoing collaboration of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, Cameroon, Niger Republic, and Chad in a multinational operation to combat the Boko Haram insurgency in the Lake Chad region has been productive and particularly commendable and successful.
Commandant of the college, Air Vice Marshal Olurotimi Tuashe, explained that students from the college have been sufficiently trained and equipped to cope with most challenges in their career with the staff and leadership skills acquired in the college.
The college has laid a solid professional foundation for you to make timely and informed decisions. We also prepared you to fulfill all types of appointments in your grade.
111 Army officers, 69 naval officers, 42 Air Force officers, 10 students from paramilitary organizations and ministries, departments and agencies, as well as 15 international students completed the 48-week intensive training. Kende Amodu, Trust TV News.
And harmful human activities like indiscriminate dumping of plastic waste into rivers and disposal of chemicals by industries are said to be some of the factors responsible for the extinction of many aquatic animals, as well as shrinking of rivers. In this report, fishermen at River Kaduna say these and other unhealthy activities have led to a reduction in the quantity of fish they harvest from the river, as well as a decline in the river habitat, while experts believe aquatic animals would continue to go into extinction due to these activities. The report.
River Kaduna derived its name from crocodiles due to the abundance of these reptiles in the river in the past. Today, fishermen say they can hardly find any of them in the river. Yusuf is one of the fishermen along River Kaduna. He laments the drastic reduction in the quantity of fish from the river due to unhealthy treatment of the river by man.
We still have different species of fish, but the quantity has drastically reduced because of the shrinking of the river.
Abubakar Muhammad is an environmentalist and climate analyst. He says plastic waste kills aquatic life as it can stay for millions of years without decomposition.
Aquatic life majorly, they eat whatever they see within the water body. And some of them, if they, plastic does not dissolve or digest or even decompose on time. Plastic can stay millions of years without decomposition. Aquatic life will eat that. If they eat that, what happens is that it will make them to go into extinction. It's actually going to affect millions and millions of aquatic life. that are living. That is why if you look at most of our rivers now, you hardly can find good quantity of fish in them.
One of the sources of protein is aquatic animals. He says if nothing is done to get rid of plastic in the river, it may affect food production.
This can actually bring about challenge in the production of food, because one of the major sources of protein is from the aquatic life. You get it? So perhaps if we have shortage in the production of food, like especially protein, then you have so many people coming up with malnourished, how do I put it, malnutrition. That is people coming up with sickness like beriberi and so on and so forth.
The climate analyst says industrial wastes that empty into the river affect aquatic life, adding that discouraging indiscriminate dumping of plastic and the promotion of recycling activities will rescue aquatic life from further extinction.
Industries, they are wastes that they are allowed to run into the drainage, from the drainage to the water body, also affect aquatic life, especially petroleum wastes. You get it? They affect aquatic life because some of them can actually make this aquatic organism, it depletes the oxygen that is found in water. Most of these plastics, this petroleum waste, and some of this wood waste that they throw into water body can actually be refined for production. Yes, it can be turned into money.
Any other waste that comes to the river will decompose after some time, but the plastics wastes do not.
Experts say healthy aquatic life can be achieved by using fewer plastic products, participating in river cleanups, and supporting organizations working to protect marine life.
And now for a look at the economy, where the World Bank recently listed Nigeria among the top 10 countries in the world with the worst inflation rates based on 2021 figures. It is, however, reported that Nigeria ranked 8th on the list with an annual inflation rate of 16.95% in a list topped by Sudan, Lebanon, and Zimbabwe. According to the World Bank, the global inflation rate measured by Consumer Price Index rose to 3.24% in 2021 from 1.92% that was recorded in the previous year, hitting its highest level in 9 years. Other top 10 countries in the world list with the highest inflation rate in 2021 include Guinea, Haiti, Turkey, Zambia, Ethiopia, and the Republic of Suriname. Others are Zimbabwe, Lebanon, and Sudan. Inflation has been top of the agenda of countries across the world since 2021. However, it is believed that Russia-Ukraine war has added to the situation for most countries. Now for a look at the foreign scene, where 3 children have been killed by a landslide that buried a rural elementary school in northwestern Antioquia, according to authorities. Officials in Antioquia province said about 20 children of preschool and first grade age were at recess, along with the teacher and the mother of one of the students in the cafeteria of La Lejia school when the landslide hit on Thursday. Most of them escaped unharmed. 3 died and 2 who had to be dug out from the building were taken to hospital for treatment. The Antioquia Secretary for Terrestrial Development said water-saturated soil broke loose near the top of the mountain on which the school stands. Video footage shared on social media showed dozens of people with shovels trying to remove a heap of felled trees and rubble. 2 digging machines were also deployed. According to the school teacher, there were 22 children present at the time of the landslide. And that wraps up Trust TV News Update for this hour. For more news, you can subscribe and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for watching.